In this video, I'm breathing life back into historical figures from the 1800s. Using original portraits, I've enhanced them, added rich color, and animated their faces so they smile, blink, and feel alive. These aren't just static images, they're real people whose stories deserve to be remembered. Elizabeth of Bavaria, often called Cece, was a royal wrapped in mystery. She detested royal duties, preferred solitude, and journeyed constantly. She even had a gym built into her private train car. Quite the rebel of her time. William Thackeray gave us Vanity Fair, a novel without a clear hero, just flawed characters that reflect real human nature. Napoleon III, nephew of Napoleon Bonaparte, was France's first president and later its emperor. He redesigned Paris with broad avenues and lush parks, giving the city its modern look. But his reign ended in defeat and exile. Queen Alexandra was admired for her elegance and compassion. She wore chokers to conceal a scar, and soon chokers were all the rage across Europe. Leo Tolstoy penned War and Peace, but later in life rejected wealth and privilege. He wore peasant clothes and preached simplicity, seeking meaning beyond fame. Oscar Wilde was a master of wit, known for lines like, "Be yourself, everyone else is already taken." But behind the charm was a man persecuted for his identity and punished harshly for defying norms. Archduke Franz Ferdinand's assassination in 1914 ignited World War I. Before that, he defied royal expectations by marrying for love. That one act set history on fire. Marie Curie broke scientific boundaries, winning not one but 2 Nobel Prizes in physics and chemistry. She discovered radioactivity, but unknowingly carried dangerous materials in her pocket. Charles Darwin spent 5 years voyaging the globe. He returned with a theory that forever changed biology: evolution by natural selection. Tsar Nicholas II was a devout ruler, but his reign saw the fall of the Russian Empire. His tragic execution with his family marked the end of the Romanov dynasty. Giuseppe Garibaldi was a revolutionary warrior who fought to unify Italy. Known as the hero of 2 worlds, he led battles across Europe and South America, symbolizing freedom. Sarah Bernhardt, nicknamed the Divine Sarah, dominated the stage with her dramatic flair. She was the first global theater star and acted even in silent films in her 70s. Thomas Edison held over 1,000 patents, including the light bulb, but he also failed constantly. His famous quote, "I haven't failed, I've found 10,000 ways that don't work." Franz Joseph I ruled Austria-Hungary for nearly 7 decades. Though stoic, his life was marked by personal tragedy, including the deaths of his wife and son. Nikola Tesla envisioned the future. While Edison backed direct current, Tesla fought for alternating current, the system that powers our world today. Chester Arthur entered the presidency amid doubt, but earned respect by fighting corruption and reforming public service. He became known as the Gentleman President. Anna Pavlova enchanted the world with her ballet. Her role in The Dying Swan moved audiences deeply. She became the first ballerina to tour internationally, spreading the love of dance. Edward VII waited nearly 60 years to become king. He was charming and diplomatic, and ushered in the refined Edwardian era, a time of transition and progress. Harry Houdini was more than a magician, he was a daredevil. Escaping from locked tanks, handcuffs, and sealed boxes, he captivated the world. He also exposed fraudulent spiritualists, fighting for truth. Charles Dickens turned his difficult childhood into iconic novels like Oliver Twist and A Christmas Carol. He gave voice to the poor and critiqued Victorian society. James Garfield rose from a log cabin to the White House. A scholar and soldier, his presidency ended abruptly when he was shot. His suffering led to reforms in civil service. Queen Victoria reigned for over 63 years, defining an era of empire, industry, and tradition. Under her, Britain became a global superpower. Louis Pasteur revolutionized medicine. He proved germs caused illness, developed vaccines, and created pasteurization. His work saved countless lives. Lily Langtry was more than a beauty. She became a celebrity in her own right. Actress, socialite, and muse, she even charmed the future King Edward VII. In 1906, Gandhi began his first campaign of nonviolent protest in South Africa. This marked the birth of Satyagraha, his doctrine of truth and resistance that would later challenge British rule in India. Mark Twain, author of The Adventures of Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn, once observed, "History doesn't repeat itself, but it often rhymes." Matilda Kshasinska was a ballet sensation in Imperial Russia. She dazzled audiences and caught the eye of Tsar Nicholas II, becoming his mistress before he took the throne. Victor Hugo wrote with passion and purpose. His novels, including Les Miserables and The Hunchback of Notre Dame, tackled injustice and uplifted the marginalized. Frederick Douglass was born enslaved but became a voice for liberation. Through writing and oratory, he inspired the abolitionist movement and demanded justice. Louise Michel was fearless. A teacher turned revolutionary, she fought in the Paris Commune of 1871. Even exile couldn't silence her calls for equality. Rutherford Hayes became president after one of the most disputed elections in U.S. history. Despite the controversy, he pushed for integrity and reformed the civil service. Benjamin Harrison was the 23rd U.S. president and the grandson of the 9th. He signed the Sherman Antitrust Act, breaking up monopolies and shaping modern capitalism. William I of Prussia became the first emperor of a unified Germany. Under his rule, fragmented states became one powerful empire, a major force in Europe's future. Mary Todd Lincoln was intelligent, opinionated, and deeply involved in politics. As First Lady during the Civil War, she carried burdens few could imagine. Ulysses S. Grant led Union forces to victory in the Civil War. As president, he focused on rebuilding the South and enforcing civil rights, though his administration faced corruption scandals. Mary Edwards Walker was a Civil War surgeon and the only woman to ever receive the Medal of Honor. She defied gender norms, often wearing trousers, and championed equality. Robert E. Lee commanded Confederate forces during the Civil War. Revered for his strategy but criticized for his cause, his legacy is still hotly debated. Colette was a French writer who defied convention. Her novel Gigi challenged societal norms and celebrated female freedom. She broke barriers in both life and literature. Abraham Lincoln preserved the Union and ended slavery with the Emancipation Proclamation. His wisdom and leadership remain enduring symbols of justice and unity. The echoes of these lives still shape our present. Their courage, vision, and defiance continue to inspire across generations.